Okay, good evening, everyone. It's 6 o'clock, and I'd like to call to order the January 28th, 2026 public meeting for the town of Three Rivers. And the purpose of our meeting tonight is to present and review two proposed rezoning applications for the town of Three Rivers and to provide an opportunity for council to receive input from the public. The applications include a request to rezone the property located at 406 McIntyre Avenue, Montague, PID 849158, from high-density residential, or R3, to community, and a request to rezone properties located at the A.A. McDonald Highway, Route 4, Montague, PIDs 1186501 and 165605, from agricultural to community. So I'd like to do the land acknowledgement before we get started. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge that the land upon which we gather is unceded Mi'kmaq territory. Epwick, Prince of Rhode Island, Mi'kmaq is covered by the historic treaties of peace and friendship. We pay our respects to the indigenous Mi'kmaq people who have occupied this island for over 12,000 years, past, present, and future. So we'll move on to an approval of the agenda. Okay. All in favor? Okay. Did you get a move in a second? Okay. Any disclosure of conflict of interest on the two items on the agenda for tonight? No? Okay. So number 4 is presentations and delegations. So we have two people to do two groups, or I'm not sure how many are in each group, to do presentations tonight. The first is for the property at 406 McIntyre Avenue, and the presenter I have here is James Orchard. Okay, you can go to the podium.
We'll need to get him to turn on the
I
mic.
can probably speak loud enough.
No, we need it
No,
for
yeah, we're recording.
So there should be a button in front of you, James.
Buttons. Oh,
There you go.
all right, excellent. Is that? It's pretty good at picking up. Okay, and I don't like turning my back on people here. Yeah, so thanks for having us out. Just like to talk about the property at 406 McIntyre. I try to keep this very, very brief. Just prepared a slight presentation so you folks kind of know what our vision is. Some of this is still very much pending all kinds of levels of review and approval, but just so you're kind of aware of what we're thinking at this time. Just a quick overview. I won't spare you these details, but just to let you know, like our organization, and again, I'm the general manager of Island EMS and Medicom Atlantic as well, which is the province's 911 center. And so everywhere I go and when I speak to people, I like to put this up here. I know that these are often, plaques we put on the wall. I was reading yours as it came in. It's really nice, quite similar, community minded. But really it's that we are changing our organization, the face of our organization, from a 911 you call, we haul, which was the traditional, that's been 20, 30 years of EMS, to really that we are navigators. We connect patients with knowledge, and we really do see ourselves as navigators and getting people access into various parts of the healthcare system. So that very much charts the course for us. Both from a policy point of view, but also from a footprint. And so most of you are very familiar with our operations on the island, at least most of them. Of course, 911 ambulance response there in the center at the top, we've done that for many, many years. Island EMS actually turns 20 years old this year. So many people do not know that we do staff and manage the emergency communication hub for the province as well in Charlottetown, and that is what we call PSAP. So all 911 calls in the province, regardless of the nature, come through us first, and then they are sent out. If it's a police or something of that nature, it goes to the relevant dispatch centers. But we do dispatch 34 of the 36 fire departments on the island, as well as all of the EMS. So we do have single responder units. We have many different community programs that I could talk at length about. I'll spare you those details, but interfacility transport system, we do have specific ambulances that are made and designed just for interfacility transfers. We now employ a multitude of people. People do see us and think it's paramedics. We have a lot of different healthcare workers that work under our umbrella as well. And then our newest program, the Mobile Mental Health Service, which I'll kind of tie back to here in Montague as far as having a footprint with the mobile mental health. And so just an overview of our organization, we're about 225 strong today. We operate out of 10 locations across the island, 2 of which are here in the municipality. And we got about 40 vehicles, and we do make about 30,000 plus patient contacts a year. So we certainly have a lot of interactions with Islanders day to day. Just thank you for sitting through that. So the ambulance base, I'll say in Montague, our current deployment here is we have 2 24/7 ambulances that are staffed and operate out of the community to cover what we would kind of consider southern Kings County. So one of them's at 6 o'clock, one of them's at 7 o'clock. That's more of just a continuity thing. We do have a 12x7 single responder unit that operates here as well, and really covers all of Kings County. And that's one of our community paramedic programs, the Mobile Integrated Health Program. So those folks are available for emergencies, but their primary focus is seniors, visits, check-ins, medications, blood work, all of those things. Many of you may have had some interactions with those folks in the past. As well, here on Montague, because of our site, we didn't have enough room, so we actually rent a small footprint here as well for our mobile mental health team that operate here. So part of our vision, of course, is to put these services under one roof. For various reasons, business continuity being the biggest one. As we build new stations across the province, really big propane generators, automatic switches, so that we can operate more or less indefinitely in the case of severe weather and major power outages. So a little bit of the history. Sorry, it's not a great photograph, but if you've driven past 406 McIntyre, it's a fairly tired looking place. Island EMS acquired that in 2006 when Island EMS was formed. Near as we can tell, this has been an ambulance base in the region here since 2001. Is going back. I wasn't on the island at that time, so just going back and speaking to some of the more senior medics around, 2001 is when they figure we acquired that, and that building is plenty older than that. We don't have an exact age on it. Some of you may know, I'm being conservative in saying 80 years old, but it does have a hand-dug basement. It's probably older than that. So that has led us to some struggles. And clearly, we've known for several years that this space needs to be replaced. And so there was some things there that we're waiting on long-term services agreement with the province, which now we have. So we're ready to kind of proceed with replacing some of our older bases, and this is the oldest. So it's a detached garage, which is not ideal, and it's a 2-bay garage. And right now, again, you see we have 3 vehicles out of here, 24, while they're based out of this base. So already we're at a bit of a disadvantage there with having to park vehicles outside. That's about the history of it and kind of what brought us here today. So I do have a kind of a current proposal of what we're looking at. I got to put a big asterisk there, subject to change. This is, we're working with some architects. We certainly have to go for permits, and there's all kinds of levels of approval that would need to happen, including with the provincial government. But I just wanted to share with you folks today, again, what our vision is. So this would be a rendering of it. The trees, I think, would have to come down. But I wanted to share this with you just to kind of show that, we're not looking to put up a building on that property that would have an industrial look to it, steel type of thing. Like this building would have very much that that residential feel. And I'll show you the backside of it. One of the big keys there is, as we are building new bases, property permitting, we are doing drive-through ambulance bays. So there's no more backing into an ambulance bay. And there's a little bit of a consideration there with noise as well. So I know there's often consideration with the noise of sirens and things like that. Sirens can be turned on and off, and I was speaking to Lee about this, that paramedics commonly don't use their sirens right in neighborhoods, right? They'll use them out on the highways or when they're approaching a stop sign or approaching a stoplight. But backup alarms, you can't turn them off. They're on all the time. So every truck that comes in and out of that base all night long, beep, 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 in and out, we often hear that from certain communities, that it's the backup alarms that truly drive them crazy. So one of the things we're looking at as we build new bases, we're looking at drive-through bays. It also, I do spend a fair amount every year on garage doors that people back into, more than I should. Straight through, drive-through, no backup, is just great for us, great for everybody. And this would house 4 vehicles. This would have the ability to house 4 vehicles. The 3 that are existing, ideally, plus the mobile mental health van. Now, the mobile mental health van does not require to be in a heated garage. It doesn't carry medications, things of that nature. So there would be the potential to house an extra unit, which we do prefer to do where we can as a spare, so that if there's a mechanical issue, the crew on duty can just come and grab that spare and carry on with their day, and we'll send a tow truck, not have to wait for a replacement ambulance to come from town. Here would be how it would sit on the lot. And again, the architect did quite a bit of work on the setbacks for community zone, and I do believe this is conforming. Again, I do have to say that even if this gets changed or this doesn't go forward, part of our concern is that our current use of the property is also not conforming. We have not been conforming for 20 years. So it's probably, with or without this, even if this got put off a year, we would still like to kind of proceed with the rezoning. Again, floor plans, if people are into these things, this is what it would look like. And I know it's really hard for you folks to see, but this does include a fair amount of room to kind of grow into, as well as the mobile mental health folks and a full office for them to just kind of be under one roof and with us. So that's what I have for you. I appreciate your time and hearing me out. I guess you folks take questions. I'm happy to take questions, but I'm happy to sit down as well.
Yeah, we can have some questions. Thank you for coming. Very nice looking building, I must say. We can do the questions. I guess we may as well do them now.
You can do it now, and
Yeah.
if James wants to sit
Yeah,
here.
if you wanna just sit so you have another microphone there, and in case any of our public and our council. Okay, council, we'll let the council go first. Alan, go ahead.
Thanks for that presentation. In Charlottetown, you're in a commercial area out, have you looked anywhere outside of the town of Montague within the boundaries of Three Rivers besides this? Like, there's a business park at Pools Corner, which is just minutes to a possible new hospital at the top of the hill. Have you looked at other venues or?
Yeah, certainly. And I know, what's not completely out of the question would be, there is some talk around the new health campus, and maybe potentially co-locating somewhere in that area. The benefits of doing that are relatively not what you think they would be, right? I mean, the proximity to a hospital is really very seldom a big.
But I'm talking the benefits to the residents that are around your operation. I'm not talking.
Yeah, so fair question. I guess we have to consider it. It's not out of the question. We did look at Pools Corner, like just from a highway access point of view. It's really every kilometer that I move north, the way I look at it, I'm moving a kilometer further from some communities like Murray River and Wood Island, right? So, again, a few kilometers here and there, even seeing where the health campus is going to be, I wouldn't say it's too far, but we don't want to edge our coverage in Kings County to be all towards one side of Kings County. So, ideally, if I were to move outside of Montague, it would probably be in the other direction. A little bit. But when we look at the heat mapping of our call volumes, they are in this area. They are here. So if I went 4 minutes outside of town, I'm just going to add 4 minutes of my response times to all my calls in town. So it's a volume over time issue. I mean, geographically, we would be out somewhere in the middle of Kings County geographically, but that's not where the calls are happening. So we do see the calls here in Montague.
And do you have an average response time in Three Rivers that you could give us?
I don't have it right at my fingertips. They are published online.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have any other questions from council? John, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you very much, Mr. Orchard, for that presentation. I know that property. I'm surprised you waited this long. Really, really.
To be honest, I always thought it was commercial. I thought
Yeah.
it was previously zoned.
Yeah, but not conducive for your paramedics there now. There's like, it's an old farmhouse.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, it was a beautiful piece of property. But I do like the amount of space you have for your ambulances. I see 4 buses there.
Yep.
Would I be presumptive in hoping that there's a call for more ambulance for this area, for the Three Rivers area?
No, I don't think so. Not in the immediate future. We have done like a system demand analysis across the entire province. And part of that did include, the location, so where our bases are, and actually, Kings County is perfect. Like our bases are located exactly where they should be. But as far as adding resources, yeah, there would be room for 4, but one of those is going to be a single response unit. That's really where we're growing, is in that field. Upwards of 50% of our calls do not result in transport to hospital. So why are we sending 2 highly trained paramedics in a transport capable vehicle to those calls and then not having them available for calls that actually require transport? So that's been a big part of our vision, is sending single responders, and we've got one here. Would there potentially be the need for 2 as our population grows? Absolutely. And we do have to look at this building as a 50-year building, right? Like we don't want to build it and then 5 years from now be back in here.
Need something new.
Yeah, needing something new. And we know that we're fairly constrained on that property as we are. So it's not like we can put up another building or add on another bay. Like we have to build it for the future. But yeah, I mean, our system really, our volumes are all in the urban centers, and the big, a lot of the work, when I'm adding resources, typically add them to the urban centers for 2 reasons. One, it stops ambulances from communities like Three Rivers getting pulled in to cover Charlottetown when calls get busy in town. So we keep those ambulances in their communities. And I had a second one, but I lost it.
At least you have room there for growth there anyway. It was good to see that, but, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very good.
Okay, no other questions from council? Okay, questions from the public? And we'd ask you to just keep the question, try to keep your questions to 5 minutes, or your input. Okay, Mary? Okay, you can just let us know your name and where you're from.
Hi, it's Mary Mermis from Baldwin's Road. For this issue, I only have one thing to say. I'm so disappointed that the neighbors aren't here to your new facility. I'm disappointed more people aren't here. Okay. Can we shut
okay.
this off?
That's okay, just, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mary. Okay. If I don't see anybody else coming forward, thank you, James, and thank you for the presentation.
Great.
Okay.
I'll shut this off.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, our next presenter is Matt Langell, and it's in reference to the property at AA McDonald Highway, PID 18, the 2 properties, 1856501, 1185, 165605.
Yeah, so Matt is, thank you, Your Worship, council, staff, residents for having us here tonight. Matt Langell is my colleague with DTI, but I'm Adam Clark with the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure, so I'm going to do a bit of an overview this evening on our rezoning request. I'm also joined by a couple of our members of our consultant team, Jody McLeod, and Mark McDonald, who are here to kind of speak about some of the engineering type aspects of our presentation tonight. So Yeah, thanks for having us. Why is DTI here? I guess to present an application for a health project. So DTI, or Department of Transportation and Infrastructure, basically act as kind of the service delivery department for the province. So anytime a department or agency of the province has a capital project, such as a school or hospital or housing project, they would get a hold of my division, which is the Building Services Division, and task us with kind of delivering that capital project on their behalf. So in this instance, Health PEI had a couple new capital projects on the books, being a new community health center for Three Rivers and a replacement hospital for the Kings County Memorial Hospital, so new KCMH hospital. So they got a hold of us and said, you know, DTI, we have these projects, we'd like to proceed, we have budget for them. So one of the first things we did was try to identify any provincially owned land in the area that we could use for these facilities. And it turned out we were very limited on the land within the Three Rivers area that we did own provincially to put these projects on. So we went down a bit of a path of exploring, you know, where could they go? Where could these facilities go? Very difficult to find something of the acreage that we needed for these facilities to be co-located, because we really wanted to have them on the same site, create a bit of a campus, and that's what we've kind of landed on, was creating a health campus for the Three Rivers area, so we can locate all these health facilities, the immediate ones and in the future as well, kind of in one location. So that's what we're up to. Between the four of us, we're just going to give an overview of the site, look at some of the layout, look at some of the servicing challenges and for the site, and also we've done a bit of a traffic study as well, so we can talk about some of the results of that traffic study. As far as location goes, to get everybody orientated, the parcel that we're looking to have rezoned is in the, I guess we'll call it the Brudenell area, on the AA McDonald Highway. It also has frontage on the Brudenell Point Road. So to get everybody orientated, the part that fronts on the AA McDonald Highway is directly opposite the What's the Scoop Dairy Bar and Brudenell Tire. So that's the neck of the woods that we're in. It was identified as the preferred location for these health facilities for a few reasons. Has ideal highway access for us, so it's got primary access from multiple directions. You can get to it from Brudenell Point Road, coming from the Montague direction, down the McDonald Road, and also easy access from the Georgetown direction as well. So strategically in a great location for us, very close to the client base as well, and from multiple directions. It also has multiple access points. So the property that we're looking to rezone has frontage on the AA McDonald Highway. It also has frontage on the Brudenell Point Road. So from a health perspective and acute care perspective, to have that redundant access in case of a closure of one of those roads is very important to us. It also had good servicing. So there's the town of Three Rivers water and sewer infrastructure is to the frontage of this property now. So that was a big bonus to us as well. And we believe overall the site does align with the town's development goals. You can see on this slide here that the property that we're looking to rezone, or properties, it's actually two separate parcels. There's this kind of a squarish parcel bounded in red that fronts on the McDonald Highway, and then there's a long slenderish parcel, the one that is about 50% woods, that fronts on the Brudenell Point Road. In total, it's about 85 acres, and you can see from this aerial photo, probably a little bit under it is, a little bit under half of it is cultivated land now, and the other half would be wooded. Our initial developments are planned to be in that kind of cultivated end of the site, mostly focused on the area that fronts along the highway. And the wooded area, really, there is no plans for development of that portion of the property at this point in time. So we're looking to have the two parcels rezoned from agricultural to community zone, which would allow for us to construct our planned health facilities. Conceptual layout for what the I'll call it a subdivision or campus might look like. We had an initial crack at what it might look like, providing a road through there to give us some properties to develop our health facilities on. So I guess primary, and Mark can talk about this a little bit more, but primary kind of connection would line up with the McDonald Road, so that would create a bit of a four-way intersection at that point. And we'd also want to extend the road out to Brudenell Point Road to provide that kind of secondary redundant access for our site. And that gives us, I think, about 5 different lots of various sizes within that parcel. Multiple access points, and we were leaving ourselves a right-of-way that could extend down into that wooded area in the future if required. A little bit of a cleaner view of the site without the aerial. On this drawing, we have actually tried to mock up, how much of each lot might get taken up by healthcare facilities. So the kind of gray shaded blotches on there would represent kind of a preliminary parking sizes, and the kind of squares with the dotted lines around them would represent not the shape of the building necessarily, but kind of roughly how much of the lot would be taken up by a building that would situate itself on those lots. And as mentioned, there is municipal water and sewer along the highway at the kind of doorstep to the property. We had our consultant, CBCL, kind of do a review of how we could service the site with water and sewer, and also review the traffic. So I might just hand it over to, is it Jody or Mark? That's Jody to kind of talk about that side of things. Thank you.
So from a servicing perspective, so on the water side, we would just anticipate that the subdivision would connect onto the town's existing water system, which does end basically at the McDonald Highway, McDonald Road. So that would be a relatively straightforward connection. The subdivision would have fire flows for all the developments. Buildings would be sprinklered, we expect, and so that would provide adequate flow from that perspective. Sanitary sewer would require a pumping station on site, as I guess it'd be the eastern side of the property is lower, so it would pump up to the McDonald Road and go by gravity down to the Montague wastewater treatment plant. From a stormwater perspective, the intent would be that we would follow the province's typical development standards, where post-development stormwater flows would be limited to the pre-development stormwater conditions. So to do that, there's a stormwater detention pond planned, and that would be in the sort of that upper right-hand side of the layout as shown on the screen. So that should also, it would be sized to address climate change in the future. We're probably looking at about a 30% increase in runoff over the next 100 years. So that would have a climate change component to it. And then I guess the only other thing I'd mention is some of the pink borders around the various lots that are there is a buffer zone, just to show that the buildings, as they fit on the lots, can be well buffered from adjacent properties. There is quite a bit of property available for those developments and those buildings, and as well as the parking. This is right now what we're envisioning for a street cross-section. This could change as the design progresses, but the intent would be to have two lanes with shoulders, open ditch flow, and an active transportation lane to go alongside of the roadway. There's a desire to try to have some connectivity for active transportation within the campus, to try to help develop it as a campus feel. And then as those different lots develop with healthcare facilities, then that would, that should provide a good connection within the campus. So we did do a traffic study, a traffic impact study for the province to take a look at what the development would bring in terms of traffic. And I'm just going to hand it off to Mark McDonald, who did the traffic study for us.
Thanks, Jody. Yeah, Mark McDonald. Yeah, so we carried out a traffic study for the proposed development. We looked at 3 different intersections within the area. So along A. McDonald Highway, you've got the existing stop-controlled intersections at both McDonald Road and at Brudenell Point Road, and then also the new intersection that would be formed where the development roadway comes out onto Brudenell Point. We carried out traffic counts at the 2 existing intersections and used those volumes, AM and PM, kind of morning and afternoon peak period volumes for analysis. We looked at 2025 existing volumes, and then future horizon years, 2030, 2035, and 2050. And I guess with each of those development years, we estimated the level of development within the campus, anticipated, kind of worked with Lee and his team to kind of figure out when these buildings, and with the province, when these buildings might come online, and also what other developments are planned and anticipated within the municipality, and kind of layered on that traffic as well as a bit of background traffic. And then looked at the performance of the study intersections during those years. So I guess the main findings were that in 2030, when we expect that there could be some development within the campus, as well as some new residential development within the municipality, the intersections will still perform fine as they are today with stop signs, 2-way stop control. But by 2035, there's quite a bit more potentially if the anticipated timelines turn out to be accurate. So at that time, there may be a need to look at upgraded signal control, traffic control at those intersections, potentially signals, and we expect they would definitely be warranted by 2050 when the campus is fully built out. And that was the main items we looked at for the traffic study.
So I think that's basically our chat, if we can take questions.
Okay, questions from the council first. Alan?
Thanks for your presentation. With the traffic study, it said that, lights wouldn't be needed maybe for quite a few years. Traffic heading north on Route 4 to turn into the hospital complex, would there be a turning lane added to go into that facility? It didn't really show anything there.
Sorry, north, right, heading north, like out of the town, so right turn lane? We don't expect so, no.
Just-
Sorry.
Can you just hit your podium button?
Sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
I travel that road every single day, and I can't imagine that there wouldn't be a turning lane into a hospital facility that size needed at that intersection. I also think that in that area, speed is if you come back into Montague the other way, people are doing 100, 105 in an 80 zone passing. That needs more attention than what I'm seeing here.
Right.
if you're gonna put a hospital facility in there. There's, I'd like to see the study and just see, like, to me, to say that that intersection is okay to put a hospital in there with all those extra things. And same goes for the top of Bell's Hill. To turn left and head south onto Route 4 there, there definitely needs to be something put in there if you're gonna put all this infrastructure out there, in my opinion.
Yes, yeah, I guess we didn't show the anticipated intersection layout if signals are installed, but there would definitely be dedicated left turn lanes. As for northbound right turn
Well,
lane.
there is coming south on Route 4, there is a dedicated left turn lane.
Right,
But I'm saying for cars to come out of that Brudenell Point Road to turn left into Montague,
right.
it's gonna be a nightmare there at the top of that hill. I think before we go any further, the major time and effort has to be spent on this. I don't agree with a lot of that up there. Anyways, I just hope that there's more done on the highway system going into a brand new hospital in Kings County than the years that are posted there with two-way stop controls in 2030. There could be traffic control now at the end of the McDonald Road from what I see.
Yes, so as part of the traffic study we undertook, we projected the volumes out to those analysis years, and then we did traffic signal warrant analysis for each of the intersections for each of those timeframes. And anyway, the outcome of that was that, you know, with the volumes anticipated in 2030, that signals would not be warranted, but by 2035 they would be at both. So, right. Yeah, so that's with the hospital with, I guess 35 beds at that point. But, the intersection configuration certainly would need to be taken into account a little further when we get to that point. And in consultation with the province, we'd look at potential speed limit reductions as well through the area, and potentially a right turn lane is certainly something we could look at for sure.
Has the province ever finished the full traffic study for us before we get into this as well, with this traffic study that we requested long and ever ago?
Don't think we've had a,
Yeah, see, I think there's more to be done to this than, yeah, okay, thank you.
I can't remember receiving a final report. No,
Steve Jones told me it was
Yeah.
completed.
but we didn't receive the final report for just on Main Street. I'm not sure if you've ever been in that area at after a soccer game in the summertime, but you may want to try that. The Dairy Bar there is a big go-to spot after a soccer game. So
Yes.
yeah.
Been
Anyway,
down here a few times for baseball.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. And baseball,
it's a-
yeah.
it's a-
it's
a
a
hot spot in the
pretty
summer,
busy
for sure.
spot some evenings. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else from council? Yeah. John, did you have a question?
Who had Jody, I think it was. Could you go back to the slide with the street there? Is that the street, proposed street that's gonna be going through the campus? Okay.
Thank
That
you.
would be the main street that would go through the campus.
Through the campus, okay.
That would be that curved one that comes out to the Brudenell Point Road.
Right,
Yeah,
very good.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Alan that I think that traffic study's gonna have to be looked at, cause there's an awful lot more traffic going through there than, and I don't think 2035 is the time to wait to look at it.
If I could just quickly on that, John, the 2035 trigger would be when we would anticipate the hospital would be up and running.
Yeah.
So there wouldn't be a whole lot there until that point. So those timeframes that we picked were really driven by when we think the facilities come online. And so that's where that was. We did also meet with Stephen Yeo and his group about their anticipated changes along there. And we're kind of in alignment right now with the time frame, but it would very much have to do with when the development happens, when the facilities are completed. So the years are a number we had to pick, essentially, but it would the upgrades would be driven by when the facilities get completed.
Yeah, okay.
Is that,
Also,
Yeah, go
did I
ahead,
hear
John.
35 beds? For this building?
I don't,
yes, somebody did say 35 beds,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
What's over here now? I've hit 30. I think you better jack that up a little bit too.
Did,
Unless you're gonna maintain this as a holding pen, pardon the
can I,
term, but
can I
Yeah,
just
thank
ask a question? Does that mean you're anticipating the hospital won't be up and operating for 10 years?
So I think they've done their traffic study kind of in 5-year blocks. So I think they looked at 2030 and 2035. Will it be open by 2030? No. Will it be open before 2035? Yes. So it's, somewhere in that window. I don't think we're implying that it's 9-10 years away. We're implying that it's in that band.
I certainly hope not. We were looking for a new hospital sooner than that, but anyway.
If I could just add a little to that, the reason we do that is we try to forecast it with background traffic growth that we would see in the community over a period of time. So we can't just look at the facilities traffic that gets generated. We also bid on whatever that background growth is, so we kind of have to pick a year.
Yeah, we're certainly having growth in Three Rivers for sure. Ann, you're next.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that, whatever happens with doing the roadway, I agree with Alan, this is important and we're gonna have to look at it. But it can only be done once and it can't be done in the summer because the businesses in this area have had enough disruption and this needs to be planned really carefully. So just wanted to put that up.
Alan, go ahead.
In the traffic study and in the future, is it in the study to slow traffic down on Route 4 coming into that area?
I don't think we didn't really, there's a recommendation certainly to look at that in consultation with the province, at the design phase.
Because I think it'd be
There's been
prudent.
discussions,
I think it'd be prudent to slow down traffic before this even starts. Not just all of a sudden, here we are and we're slow down today. Maybe the province and the municipality too should be looking at slowing traffic down gradually in the next few years. Because traffic right there now does fly through there and there's a lot of businesses, as you know. Neighbors Gardens, Farrell, Ford, et cetera, the dollar store down the road, Brudenell Tire, et cetera, et cetera. So I think we should be looking at slowing traffic down gradually now, very soon. That way it's not just a big shock to her when the time comes.
Okay, Patrick?
Your worship, I just have something to add to that. So I've been talking to Brett Wallace at the province, and they're looking at changing that area into an infill area. So right now it's not labeled for infill, so you can't. It's difficult to get new entrances, but they are looking at making that an infill area. So I'm assuming they'd be looking at speed at that time as well.
Okay. Thank you, Patrick. Okay, oh, yes, I'm sorry. Lee, we do have one email that was emailed into Lee, and we'll ask Lee to read that now. The person couldn't attend tonight, so we said we would present it publicly.
Thank you, Worship. It's just the single email I received. It's from Stephen and Katrina Vesey, neighbours to the site. He asks, my question is, will there be a privacy fence running the full length on the back of the hospital property? Our back sunroom looks out to the agricultural property where the hospital is proposed to be placed. It is approximately 250 feet from my window where a thin tree line is, and on the other side of the thin tree line is the agricultural land, which will be used for the hospital. We purchased our property almost 10 years ago for the peace and quiet it offered and the seclusion it provided. We are encouraged to think that a new hospital will be going into Three Rivers, yet wish to still feel the same privacy and seclusion we have for the past 10 years at our home. We know that a hospital beside our property will increase the potential to have garbage and debris, possibly foot traffic, onto our property. We have dogs that we have had the freedom to roam our property for years without risk to them, and only wish to feel the same safety and security that we've felt for the past number of years at our home. We may be one of the closer homes to the proposed hospital footprint and wish to be updated and included in how things move forward. Thank you, Worship.
Okay, thank you. Maybe we can pass on the email and their information to,
Do we know the location of the residence?
I know where it is, but I don't know if I can, yeah, can you show them, Alan, on the map?
It'd be in back here,
Yeah.
The long driveway, there's
Oh, correct, yeah.
Yeah.
I think really development of that part of the property isn't really in any of our initial phases, so we're a long time away from ever having to deal with that, removal of any trees, if even required, on that frontage of the property.
Okay, we should have somebody just correspond with them. Lee can forward the email.
Sure, yep.
Okay. Okay, Cody?
So we're here tonight, we're gonna change zoning, and then you guys are going to be moving forward with, we say, the hospital and this facility kind of in tandem? Is that or is there one going first?
So we really have, I guess, three projects. The first would be kind of the development of the subdivision itself. So if we were to receive rezoning for the property, we would plan to be there in 2026, so this summer, to put the road network through the site, the water connections, the sewer, the storm, get the infrastructure in place so that we have lots to build on. And then subsequent to that, or I guess in tandem with that, we also have kind of the design processes for the two other buildings happening as well. So we have functional planning, RFP, or proposals that we're reviewing now for the hospital. So we're really gonna get into the meat of the design of the hospital here in the next month. We're gonna move on that. And then we also are gonna be issuing a design RFP for the community health center, which is the other building on the site. We've recently built three of them. So we built one in Alberton, one in Summerside, one partway through construction now in Charlottetown. So we kind of have the framework for how those facilities go up. So that one shouldn't take us that long to get the ball rolling. So those would be kind of the first three steps in the campus.
So yeah, first step, you're gonna build this whole road and
Yep.
do all the infrastructure, lift station, everything in the first go.
That's the plan, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
that's excellent.
yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, Alan.
Yeah, so with all that groundwork being done, are you gonna be using the Brudenell Point Road as your enter and exit with all that construction going on?
We haven't really gotten to that point, like we haven't started design drawings yet for the site. So I guess we'll have to, when we get into the meat of design.
Yeah, because I mean, there's obviously gonna be a lot of truck traffic coming and going for a
Yep.
long time, so with that intersection I spoke of at the end of McDonald Road, I mean, I would hope that most traffic's gonna go rerouted down the Robertson Road, where there's less congestion and less issues, if there's no turning lane once again going in there.
Yeah, it's
Prior
possible
to.
we will have to work with our kind of counterparts in the highways division, because that's not me. But we'll work with them to figure out, what makes the most sense for construction access, because it's gonna be, like you said, a long-term construction access, not just for the road, but for the buildings to take place after that.
Yes, and as Ann mentioned, we've had a lot of disruption in the town the last couple of years for various reasons. So we would really appreciate if we could work together in any disruptions in 2026. Okay, anybody else? Okay, anybody from the public have, okay, Mary?
Hi, Mary Maramis, Baldens Road. Very disappointed at the lack of people who came. So this is going to be disjointed because I said to Chris, I bet you all my questions will be asked by other people, but there are very few other people. I don't like your answer regarding Stephen Vesey, the people who live alongside. That's very serious if you're going to have such an interruption. So I don't like your answer to that email. This is farmland. And I also have a problem the real estate person is not here, is he? They advertised that as commercial, never thought of advertising it as farmland. So you guys bought that, you had a big photo up, there's a large sign up there now, it's agricultural land. Are you not doing things backwards? You're counting on them to change it to community, right? You're counting on them to change it. Am I correct?
There's a sign up, yeah, people got excited for sure
Oh,
about the
yeah.
project, because it's an exciting project, but it's not lost on us that we need to have the property rezoned.
This is farmland, okay? You're losing farmland, and you're leaving the woods, not that that's not important. This is farmland, so you're not taking it seriously enough. Could you not find anything in this huge town of Three Rivers that would not use up good farmland that's still being farmed?
Excuse me, there is no town of Three
Oh,
Rivers.
okay, well.
There's the town of Rivers, Montague, but there is no town of Three Rivers.
That's a whole issue, like, we don't feel it's a town of Three Rivers.
So we
Anyway,
just-
you couldn't find any land anywhere else that's not being farmed now, like that would be less quality? That's
So
a question.
I guess we, at the start of the presentation, kind of identified why we, in our opinion, this was a good spot for the hospital. We are committed, as part of purchasing the property, we do have a commitment to, that any portions of the property that we haven't determined are required for the development are gonna be put into the province's commitment to 7% protected lands. So after we've kind of worked our way through identifying, how much of the property we need for this health campus, what's not being used is gonna be put into a 7% protected land commitment.
Okay. I am just going to be disjointed, like I said. I thought somebody else would be asking most of this. Okay, what will happen now? There's an act to amend the Planning Act, Bill 100. It hasn't been made law yet. And if that was in place now, it would say protection of arable land. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Prioritize the use of non-arable land for development whenever feasible and require justification for the conversion of arable land. That's not law yet. So what would happen if Bill 100 were in effect now?
Sounds like it'd be allowable if it was justified to me.
Sorry?
It sounds like it'd be justified
Okay.
to have a hospital. That's,
All right, I'm
Yeah.
just asking. Yeah, the
that's my
hospital's very
take of that.
important.
That's
Yeah.
how I'd read that.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. So, all right, I asked him, Matt Langell, I'm used to looking at Lands Protection Act applications because most of you would know that we've done a lot of research on land sales, which I know is not your thing. You don't have to do land sales. So somebody behind me here, all these papers, would you find for me, not necessarily right this moment, go to the Lands Protection Act. I can find, you find application number, the date it was applied for, the applicant or purchaser, the former owner, the parcel number, where, how many acres, etc. You can send it to me tomorrow. Would you find for me where these two properties are in the Lands Protection Act? Because I couldn't find them today. And I hope you fellows don't have to say, oh, we don't have to apply. Did you not have to apply for the right to purchase?
We're not a non-resident and we're not a corporation.
So you're exempt from applying to the Lands Protection Act?
Excuse me, Mary, we're talking about, I guess, rezoning here. I mean, I guess the importance, as Councilman Monroe mentioned, is that there is no land in the town of Montague that would, we were landlocked a long time before amalgamation. Councilor Monroe can back me up on how little land is available in the town. And I guess, let's try to keep it to rezoning. I'm really glad, is what I can say, Mary, that we are getting a hospital. And there's, I know it's farmland. We all recognize that. But we need a new hospital. And I think that, counts people's lives, people's you know, I guess I'm really glad that it's going near our town, so.
Well, firstly, it's in your town, because
It's in, it's not, it's in, it's in the municipality. I'm really glad it's going in our municipality. Yes.
Okay, but it made my point.
Okay, but
All
yeah,
right,
let's
and-
try to keep it to the rezoning issues.
Okay, you're gonna have another request for rezoning, aren't you? Because on the Lands Protection Act, there's a numbered company buying from the estate of Kenneth Fraser, 22 acres.
We're not, Mary, and we're not talking about that tonight. We're talking about, two PIDs, unless it's the same PIDs.
No, it's a
When
different
when that comes up, you're welcome to come back and talk about that rezoning. Okay? When we're sticking, like I said, we're trying to get to the rezoning of these two PIDs.
Okay.
Okay?
One of the things that has struck me is when the Queen Elizabeth Hospital has grown and grown and grown and grown, and is there any like cancer, diabetes, a whole lot of other problems? I suppose that's not significant.
Okay. So I do agree with what Ann said and what you said about the streets, you know, that type of thing, and not having the busy road work done in the summer again. So I would appreciate if you would have a better answer for Stephen Vesey, the neighbor. And what about I forgot his name now, the one with all the animals? They're okay with this? You don't know the neighbor. You don't know the neighbor.
I know the location that you're speaking of. They haven't voiced any concern. I'm not sure if they're here to,
A miniature, yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
we'll review the email once it's sent to us and have an opportunity to see how we can kind of work with them to make sure that they're not negatively impacted by our development. And we'll take the traffic comments to our
for
traffic
sure.
folks as well and make sure that they've kind of heard what was said here today so that work can kind of happen alongside the subdivision development.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mary and Chris. Okay. Do we have anybody else that wanted to comment? Sure, come ahead. Yep, come to the podium. You can tell us your name and where you live.
My name's Randy McDonald.
Mike.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
My name's Randy McDonald, and I own the business Brudenell Tire Center, which is at the intersection. I also own the property out front of the said intersection that we're talking about at the end of McDonald Road. And council has brought up a lot of the questions that I had intended to ask. First of all, I'd like to say thanks for this project moving ahead. I think we really need this hospital in the community. One of my concerns, I guess, is you said that you're starting the project this summer in 2026. And what is the plan for the traffic control?
So it'd be truck traffic, the construction truck traffic would be
Yeah.
the only traffic that would be in and out of there this
Yeah.
coming season, for sure.
But it does affect, like we've seen it the past few summers. We weren't as directly affected. This time around, though, we will be. Ourselves and Stella's, What's the Scoop, Neighbors' Gardens. And there just doesn't seem to be a lot of planning when it comes to the traffic control, because it does affect us as small businesses. And it affects us greatly, and people can't get access to our properties.
So I guess this development wouldn't be unlike any other private development. Like we ourselves have to apply to our own department for approval for the project. So we'll have to present the subdivision plan to our colleagues in highways for them to approve construction of the roads, because they're gonna ultimately inherit these roads and have to maintain and plow them. So I think that's the real opportunity at that point for us to chat with them about, what's an acceptable route for us to let trucks in and out of this development? Like, do we need to start on the Brudenell Point Road and kind of work our way in and funnel people out that way? Or would they rather have, dump traffic directly out onto the A.A. McDonald Highway? I'm not a traffic expert, so I don't know that answer, but we will have those conversations
Yeah.
with them.
Just like, and I know, like, when you're trying to get in somewheres and you can't get in, like, when you guys are connecting this here subdivision road, and it's gonna be right across from McDonald Road, correct?
Yep.
So that whole intersection, that whole road is gonna be tore up, especially when you're hooking the,
I think in
water and sewer, yeah.
2026, really, we're not gonna,
okay,
we won't be doing any construction on the highway, so we're gonna be kind of contained within the site.
okay.
It's when we're kind of unloading buildings, so buildings are gonna come online, that's when I see upgrades required to the highway itself. So there's no point in us doing that today, and say no point, like you're saying there's traffic concerns today, so I'd say there's no point, but it's really when the buildings come online that's when this subdivision is gonna impact traffic on the road.
Yes, and it will also during construction, I believe,
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's one of my concerns, and
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a concern of the other businesses along there as well, is access.
Why I like to see it on the Robertson Road or the Brunel Point Road.
Yes,
During construction phase.
yeah,
I think most of the traffic should be made go through that end of the development.
So we will, I definitely will commit to having that conversation with Brett and Steve Yo and see how they feel like is the best way to kind of mitigate the truck traffic over the construction.
because I know, like, even this time of year, when you're trying to make a left turn coming off of McDonald Road, and you're turning left, going north onto the number 4, it can be quite a chore.
Yeah,
This time of year, let alone when it's busy
Yep.
and in construction season, right? So,
And-
I mean, I think the traffic, in that area needs some attention to begin with, let alone when we put this new campus here, so.
yeah, right now to turn, you're going against 2 lanes there to turn
Yes.
into Montague.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, we've learned a lot of things from the summer. And I think communication is one of the biggest things that needs to be improved on from everybody, communication between the town and transportation and between both the town transportation and the business that are impacted. I think that we all need to improve on that. So we hear your concerns and we are aware of them. So we'll try to work with transportation to do the best we can. That's a commitment from us.
And do you have the numbers available for the traffic study that you did? And what time of year was it done, I wonder?
Right here.
Okay. Hey, go ahead. I'm done now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Randy, what would you like to know when the traffic counts were done?
Yes, when they were done and what the amounts were. Yeah.
Well, it's all sitting here, I guess, but, the counts were done in September of 2025. So, near kind of just beyond the tourist season.
And that being said, Montague or Three Rivers area turns into a totally different spot come September. There's a lot more traffic here in July and August. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Ann?
Yeah, I just, sorry, because I don't know the answer to this, but may I ask Lee a question?
Go ahead.
Just a procedural thing, Lee. So, tonight we're looking at rezoning, and it's going to go before planning board, and let's assume that we rezone this and it becomes community. So then, does the province come back to Three Rivers with a subdivision plan for this property, or is it just then they go ahead and do it?
Thank
Go
you,
ahead,
Worship.
Lee.
Councillor. Yes, is the answer to that, and in the short, and I've been making furious notes. We both have, and very mindful of the concerns which are being mentioned, particularly regarding traffic and the impacts and turning lanes. The proposed concept you can see there, that road layout, that drainage network, all of that work will require a development permit. And as part of that, we can also look at asking for effectively a construction management plan, a traffic management plan in terms of the routing of vehicles, the timings of work, how that's going to be controlled. We have the ability to do that, and I would suggest that we will be doing that and bringing that back to you through due process for consideration in an open forum. I think that's a smart thing to do at this stage. Given the concerns that I know council did receive, I don't believe it'll delay in sort of the ongoings of the program. It'll be part of the normal application intake. So there is more to come. This is strictly the public meeting for that. We do have more information to provide when we go to planning board, councillor, with the formal proposal to rezone. This is obviously this very preliminary stage at the moment, and then I'll be packaging that up with reports, incorporating what we've heard tonight as well, because that's very helpful to have this stage at this stage, and then we can package that up, report that back to you for consideration again at the end of the month.
Okay, thank you. So this is about rezoning the land, and then we will have consultation about the development permit. Thanks.
Okay, this is a good question. That's makes it clear. Do we have anybody else that has any questions, or are we all finished? Okay, if we're finished, I'll ask for a motion for adjournment. Moved by Alan, second by Ann. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Thank you very much for coming out, and yeah, and we'll